I was in the US when the agreement was signed. I was surprised, like everyone else, that this was happening, that the two sides were coming together for the first time to sign an agreement. And I came back to participate in implementing one section of the Oslo Peace Accords, which was the section that gave us the right to build separate and independent telecommunication networks. But sadly, 25 years later, it's not separate and it's not independent. The Israelis never allowed us to have access to our resources to be able to build a proper network. The agreement started on the wrong foot. The Palestinian side started the agreement by recognizing the state of Israel. Israel did not recognize the state of Palestine. We were able to codify the state in the United Nations, but on the ground, Israel imposed even deeper military occupation and continued to build settlements throughout the entire process. So as we're trying to negotiate with Israel how to withdraw from the West Bank, they continue to move their civilian population inside the West Bank. Again, a very clear intention that they have no interest whatsoever in ending this military occupation. In the Oslo Accords, there were supposed to be safe passageways between Gaza and the West Bank. Israel never allowed that to happen. We were supposed to have access to our frequencies so we can build telecommunication networks properly. That never happened. We were supposed to be able to have access to Area C, which is 62% of the West Bank. Israel stopped transferring land to the Palestinians. We were supposed to have our fair share of the water. Israel continues to take our water resources. So there's a lot of damage that came from the Oslo process. And I hold responsible not only the two parties, because both parties made mistakes, I hold more responsible third states. The international community that was looking on did not hold the parties accountable, specifically holding Israel accountable for the actions that it took to not implement Oslo. And I think that's a very important lesson that the Oslo process taught us. Israel's not interested in allowing the Palestinians to build a different reality on the ground. They only use the time of the peace process to entrench the military occupation further and further, until we find ourselves today questioning if a two-state solution is feasible anymore. Oslo ended when it said it was going to end, in 1999. This was a 5-year agreement. It had an expiration date. That date finished in 1999. It's a lesson that we can learn from this process and not make the same mistake again. There is no goodwill today in Israel as it relates to allowing the Palestinians to build a state. There is no intention on the Israeli side to remove the boot of occupation from our neck. And those are lessons that we have to take and readjust how we deal with Israel based on those lessons.